So today we're going to find the area of a circle. Believe it or not, even though it's a circle, the answers are still in square units. Yes. Now, let's see if we know some vocabulary. So I've drawn this circle. What is the diameter of the circle? What number? Well, the diameter is all the way across through the center. So the 18 there is called the diameter. Do we know what the halfway across, or from the center to the edge? By the way, this is called the edge. So from the center, right, there's the center of it, and the center of this to the edge seems to be half as big. It's halfway. And we know what that's called. That's called the radius. Now, those are the two numbers you need for calculations. This third thing doesn't come up for calculations until you get to geometry class, but this third thing is called a chord, and it's spelled the same way as a musical chord. But a chord is all the way across, like the diameter, but does not go through the middle. Once a chord goes through the middle, it changes its name to diameter. All right, so now we're going to approximate the circumference using 3.14 for pi. Now, on Pi Day, hopefully, we did circumference. Circumference is equal to pi times diameter. But pi cannot be calculated with because it goes on forever. It's an irrational number. So we're going to use 3.14 as an approximation. But once we put 3.14 in there, we're going to, I'm going to see this for circumference. This is not the area. And then the diameter was 18. So for the circumference, you would do 3.14 times 18. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. We step over and we multiply 314 by 1. We add up the two rows. We have two numbers, 1 and 4 after the decimal, so we move it twice. And we get the circumference is 56.52. And this is not in square units. It's in inches. Now, what the circumference is the distance around the outside. It's very similar to perimeter. Right? Perimeter is for shapes with straight sides. Circumference is for circles, but it's the same concept, the length around the outside. We're not doing perimeter, right, in this unit, and we're not doing circumference in this unit. What we're doing is the area inside here, right? And we want to find out, still just like with the other ones, we're going to have to find how many little squares fit in there, how many square inches, right? Circumference was not square units, it was inches. Okay, so now, right, we're going to find the area of a whole square, and then how much of a square is that? A square. A whole circle, and then how much of a circle is that? That's half a circle. The math word for half a circle is semicircle. All right, so the radius is half the diameter. So we're just going to start with that. What's the diameter here? The diameter all the way across is 16 inches. The radius is that divided by 2, half of it, you could say, and that's 8. So the radius, so that means if you start in the center, no matter what, that's going to be 8. You could draw it anywhere, and you could do it half of this one is 8. All right, right? That 12 is a chord. You're not going to need that for any calculating. Know the difference between a diameter all the way across and the radius. All right, so now there's only one number there. All the way across, the diameter is 10.2 centimeters. So halfway, we got to divide it by 2. 2 goes to the 10, 5. Decimal straight up, 2 down, 2 and 2, 1. You could have done this in your head as well. Is the radius is 5.1 centimeters. And yes, you could have it there. It also could be there and there and there. All of those are exactly 5.1 centimeters. All right, so the area of a circle equals pi r squared, but you can't calculate with pi. So most of the time you end up using 3.14 times r squared. So you need the radius squared for area. So let's see that. So is that 5 inch correctly the radius? It is. It's right from the middle to the outside. It's half the size of the diameter. So this is going to be approximate the area. So the area is approximately 3.14 times 5 squared. What do you do first? Multiplying our exponents. So it's 25 times 3.14. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 is 7. 5 times 3 is 15. Step over. 5 times 3, 1, 4. You're going to do a lot. It ends up with 628. Add up the 2 rows. And there's no carrying there. And so I move the decimal twice. And so the area of this is 78.5 square inches, right? Those double marks mean inches. This is square inches. What does that mean? If I do a whole bunch of squares in there, right, and count them up, I didn't draw that very nicely. There should be 78 and a half of them in there, 78 square inches. Right, so it's area approximately 3.14 times the radius squared. Which of those numbers is the radius? 10, right? So it's times 10 squared. What's 10 squared? 10 squared is 100, right? So 3.14 times 100. Now, you can go do that, but when you multiply by 10, you move the decimal once. And you multiply by 100, you move it twice. Yeah, the answer is going to be 314, but let's show that since you guys, all right, let's prove it to you. The answer is going to be 314. You multiply by 10, it moves once, twice by 100. Because you get a row of zeros here, you step over, you get another row of zeros, and then the third row you go over twice, and you get the 4, 1, 3. You add all this up, then you got to move the decimal twice, and then it goes there. And this is approximately 314 square feet. One mark is feet. And you ignore the chord. All right, so what's the area? So it is approximately 3.14 times the radius squared. What's the radius here? That's not 14. That's the diameter. Right? The radius is half of that, 7. So it's 7 squared. So it's 3.14 times 49. 9 times 4 is 36. And 9 is 12. And 27 plus 1 is 28. And we step over, and 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And 4 times 3 is 12. And it's 6 and 8 and 13 and 5 and 1. Yeah, move the decimal twice. And it's approximately, and it's not exactly, 153.86. M is meters, and so this is square meters. 153 approximately little squares fit inside there. Again, what is the radius, right? It's A equals pi r squared, so it's 3.14. What's the radius? The radius is 3, because it's showing that as 6. So it's 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. Right? So we're getting, really the whole thing with this is make sure you have the radius. And you have the radius, you know which number is the radius. And if it's not there, you find it and then you square it. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 plus 3 is 12. 9 times 3 is 27. Move it twice. 28.26 square meters. M per meters again. Right? Miles, that's why miles is MI. So you know what the difference between miles and meters. Okay, I've been talking about this is still in square units. So how many squares do you think are inside? Well, let's see. It's approximately 3.14 times 25. Now, instead of doing 3.14, let's make our life easier. Can we do, well, 25 times 3 is 3.14, a little bit bigger than 3, sure. So there better be more than 75 square units in there. So let's see if that's true. Okay, we'll see if we can count. Well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh my God, I'm going to keep counting. I'm going to say this one's 23. 20, that's almost 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Now, right, I'm at 33 and I'm halfway, so that would be 66. All right, now then, right, you have all these little bitty ones, right? You have all these little bitty ones, and they will get you all the way, right? The ones I didn't count because they weren't even half of one, okay? But all of those will get you up to the 75 square units. It's approximately 75 squares inside there. I'm not counting these ones out here, all right? I'm not counting these ones out here. How about this time? So let's use 3 again. And the radius is 2. 2 squared is 4. So there should be 3 times 4. 12, approximately 12 squares in there. And again, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. And right, there's some that are cut off, but then there's some I didn't count, those 2. And it's about 12 squares in there. All right, now that's what part of a square? So remember, it's A equals pi r squared. Area of half a circle must be half pi r squared. Yes, right? That makes sense. So it's approximately 1/2 times 3.14 times 8 squared, right? Well, 8 squared is 64. 2 cancels with 64 and becomes 32. So this looks like it's going to be a lot of work, and some of you want to run for a calculator, but use your canceling. The half will, if there's an even number in there, you can cancel, right? And so then you just have to do 3.14 times 32. Now the other thing you should realize is, right, 32 times 3 is what? 96. So we better get an answer a little bit higher than 96, right? Because it's 3.14 times 32. Let's see if that happens. 2, and there's the 628 you're going to get many times. 3 times 4 is 12. I don't have to cancel that. 3 plus 1 is 4, and 3 times 3 is 9. 8, 4, 10, and I move the decimal 1, 2 again. Yeah, I said it was a little more than 96. Yeah, it is. It's 100. Because the 1, 4 part gets you 100.48, and these are square centimeters. Okay, half a circle, you multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2. Right, so what fraction of the circle is blue? Well, hopefully you think there is 1/4 of the circle. So this will be 1/4 times 3.14 times, this is the radius, 10 squared. 10 squared is 100. 4 goes up to 100 25 times. So this is 3.14 times 25. 5 times 4 is 20. And then 7, and then 15. Step over, you get the 628 for 2 times 3, 14. And you move the decimal twice. And for just the blue part, right, it's 78.51 mark square feet. How would you find, now that you know the blue is 78.5 square feet, what would you do for the whole thing? Multiply by 4, right? The whole thing is 4 times that, right? That's where right? We take the 1/4 away. We could do it that way. And I think we did this one before because it was 3.14 times 100 was 314 square feet. I bet you if you multiply that, it's 314. Right? Half would be 2 times the 4th, 2/4, and so on. So let's practice. So we're going to do approximately 3.14 times the radius, which is 20 squared. We're going to ignore the chord. 20 times 20 is 400. So this is 3.14 times 400. We're going to get a row of zeros. We're going to step over. We're going to get another row of zeros. We're going to step over twice. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 0, 0, 6, 5, 2, 1. Move the decimal twice. 1, 2. I'm getting 1,256 square inches for the area of that circle. All right, so whenever you have this wording, I'm like not wanting you to do a lot of work. So let's see. So the area is approximately 3.14 times the radius squared. What's the radius here? 18 is the diameter. The radius is 9. So now, let's see. 9 squared is 81. instead of using 3, let's use 3.14, you have to use 3. So what's 3 times 81? That's 243, right? I got rid of the 1, 4. That's why it's lower. And so, yeah, it's around 250 square centimeters, right? We're going to talk more about getting rid of this 3.14. You can see that the answer, if you get rid of the 1, 4 part, the 1400s, your answer is a little bit low, okay? But it's not wildly off, and that's helpful. And make sure that you understand that's called the diameter, and for this, you want this distance called the radius. Right, so for that, 6 inches is this distance all the way across, and so we need the area of half the circle, so 1/2 times 3.14. What's the radius? The radius then is 3 inches. So that, all right, so we didn't get a nice canceling here, bummer. So we have to do 3.14 times 3, 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. You get 9.42. That would be the whole circle's area. And you have to divide it by 2. Well, so 2 goes into 9. What, 4 times? 2 times 4 is 8. Remainder 1. Decimal straight up, 4 straight down. 2 into 14, 7. Remainder 0. Bring down 2. We're done. So it is approximately 4.71 square inches for the semicircle, right? That's the area of the semicircle, the half circle. Good luck with the homework.